Welcome everybody to the 2023 Subaru Impreza WRX. Yes, this is the high performance WRX version, and this is the only one because Subaru has officially confirmed there will be no STI and there is no Mitsubishi Evolution anymore. So this is it, the only Japanese all-wheel drive sedan with rally credentials. Let's see how this car is. The latest generation of the WRX has lots of divided opinion on its styling. Subaru has implemented a lot of cladding on all around the car, especially you can see on the front bumper. It's full of cladding. Lots of mixed opinion. I personally like it, and Subaru is obviously implemented because you would take your car off the road into the dirt stuff like we have done thanks to Subaru Canada. We are in Presqu'île Provincial Park and we are literally using the potential of this car on the roads around here, and I think this cladding would definitely save the bumper from lots of rock chips and lots of stuff that can fly onto the car when you're on dirt roads. I think the cladding would do a great job, and I can totally understand why Subaru implemented. Maybe it could have been on a bit on the minimal side, but that's what Subaru's implemented, and I think it looks really good. It's got a nice grille with the big Subaru logo and nice headlights with nice DRLs as well. And since this is a WRX, it has the iconic intercooler cutout on the bonnet, and yes, it is functional. It is not fake like many other cars in the market. So again, it's very functional, to the point designing, but again, nothing majorly different or radical compared to the previous generations of WRX. I think Subaru has done a good job here. Side profile of the WRX, as you can see, is very conventional sedan 3-box design. It's got nice 18-inch alloys, and as you can see, the cladding has been carried on from the bumper onto the fenders and the side skirt. I mean, I do understand why Subaru is implemented, because rocks normally fly from the side onto the underbody and they normally hit the side skirts or the wheel wells and the fender lining. So I can understand why cladding has been put there. The shapes of the wheel wells are also a slightly unconventional, if I can say, slightly a bit more, got lots of edges to it, and they complement the 18-inch rims really well. Nothing else going on with the side profile. It's fairly simplistic, but it's got the traditional iconic Subaru sedan design legacy, which Subaru has implemented really well. The rear of the WRX, as you can see, is not its strongest point. I mean, not to take away anything from the design, it's actually really nice. The taillights, the boot, everything is well integrated, but as you can see, the cladding is the most dominating part. In fact, it's more than half of the bumper, which I think is pushing it a little too much. If it was perhaps a little smaller or maybe designed more better, I think it would have looked much more clean and much more appealing. It's obviously not to everyone's taste, but Subaru has stuck to its motive of making the car look much more rugged with cladding all around, and they have done exactly what they wanted to do with the rear. A bit too much perhaps, and a bit lesser would have perhaps made the car much more aesthetically pleasing, but what can we do? The only saving grace is that the cladding in the bottom part is actually designed like a diffuser, and it's got quad pipes, which are all of them are functional, which is great news. Now I'm inside the WRX, and it's a lovely place to be. You've got nice leather with red stitching on the steering wheel. You've got red stitching on the seats and on the center console as well. You've got WRX stitched onto the headrest, which looks really nice. You've got 4 carbon fiber. You've got gloss black, and it's a nice place to be inside, to be very honest with you. The big iPad screen controls everything, so you've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the AC settings, the vehicle settings and everything. It's a tad laggy, but it has all the functions, so it does its job well. I'm not personally a big fan. I wish it could have been better integrated. You've got physical buttons for the temperature control, the volume knob, but that's about it. Everything else is touch screen. The steering wheel is extremely nice to hold. It's a flat bottom 3-spoke steering, and you've got nice chunky paddle shifters on the back. You've got buttons for the adaptive cruise control, and which Subaru calls eyesight, and the volume controls as well. The speedometer is all analog, which is really nice. You've got a nice tachometer and a speedometer, and you've got a small screen between to tell your trip meter and your boost gauge and everything, which is pretty nice as well. The gear lever is gloss black, but the way it's positioned with the armrest and everything, I wish this car was a manual, because this would fall right in hand. It would be so fun to, you know, just shift through the gears. So I wish this was a manual, but even the automatic, the gear lever feels really nice. The armrest is really big and comfortable. You open it and you get a pretty big size cupboard inside as well. You've got 2 cup holders and a small storage to keep your keys and stuff as well. Again, it's just really nice. The seats are really comfortable. You can do long journeys. You've got really nice, you know, lumbar support, under thigh support is really good. And since this is a WRX, it's a sporty version, so you've got, you know, Alcantara with the leather combination, which I think looks really good and suits the sporty nature this car is trying to exude. Now I'm in the rear seat of the WRX. As you can see, there's so much room. This driving seat is for my driving position, and I have so much knee room. I've got a lot of foot room to tuck my feet under the seat. I've got a good enough headroom as well, and it's really spacious. The transmission hump is a bit too big, so I think the third passenger is not the most welcome here, but again, it's a really nice place to be. The backrest is just perfectly inclined. The under thigh support is decent, and you've got the same fog carbon fiber theme onto the door as well. The same Alcantara and leather mix of seats. You've got a snap little storage here, heated seats for both for the back, and you've got 2 you know, USB ports as well in the back. You've got seat back pockets, and if you flip the armrest down, you get cup holders as well. It's a great place to be. The windows are of great size, so there's good light in. It's not a panoramic sunroof, and it is all black in here, but it does not feel claustrophobic. Subaru has done a great packaging of the back seat over here, and it's really a great place to be, much better than I initially expected. Now I'm behind the wheel of the WRX, so let's get the numbers out of the way. This has a 2.5 liter flat 4 turbo engine, which produces about 240 brake horsepower, which is pretty punchy. This has a CVT automatic gearbox, which is a bit of a downer. I wish I had the manual, but let's see how this car drives. Starting to drive, set off, and there is no turbo lag, and you can instantly notice that the RPMs are ready to shoot up, partly because when you start this car, it starts in sport mode. There is a sport plus with the sport and hashtag sign, and an intelligent. So intelligent is like where it's all dulled down and it's easier to drive and everything, but this car starts from sport mode, so it shows what the intentions are with this car. It drives really well, and I'm in sport mode, and it pushes and it just grips so well, and just minor dab of the throttle and you are just flying, and that's all it needs. You never need to floor this car in sport mode, which is really convenient, and it's so nice to just, you know, putter around town, or when you want to overtake someone, or when you're on your favorite B road, which I am on right now. The steering feel is so good, it's so accurate. You know exactly what the car is doing, and you can just, you know, haul this car into corners, and you know this car will grip. It does have the all-wheel drive, since it is a rally inspired car, right? So it has the all-wheel drive, and it just grips like a leech. It's so good. Honestly, this car is so fun to drive. I mean, I'm just mind blown every time I drive this car. It's just so fun. The brakes are so good, the pedal feel is good, the engine is punchy. It's got a nice note since it is a flat 4 instead of a regular 4-cylinder in the V configuration. So it sounds really good as well. I mean, as I said, you know, overall this car is just super fun to drive, and one that I've been enjoying driving a lot for some days now. I mean, just take it through some twisties, and it just handles so well. I'm on some very patchy road, but you hardly feel anything. The ride is so good. Honestly, this is just a great car for your favorite back road, and Subaru's always been doing that since the last few years, and this version is no different. The fuel economy is not the best. You would get probably 10 to 11 liters per 100 kilometers in city driving, but overall it's just super fun to drive. Honestly, I'm blown away. It's so fun. Conclusion then, the 2023 Subaru Impreza WRX. Well, where do I start? I still feel Subaru has done a great job with the way this car drives, and that's all that matters with this car. It handles so beautifully well, it rides really well, and the engine is extremely punchy. The fuel economy is not its best, but it has great space. The boot is really big, it can accommodate everything. The looks are a bit of hit or miss. Some might like it, some might not like it, so that's somewhere where Subaru has played a gamble. I think the car looks really good. It grows on you eventually, and I think it's a great package. At around $45,000 Canadian for this WRX Sport Tech, which is the adaptive cruise control, it's really good value, and there's hardly anything else for this price that would match the driving ability this car possesses.